be starting in about 10 or 12 minutes. So if you're just joining us, have some coffee before it gets cold. It is in that cardboard container over here.
Could you lean forward so I can see the Ace of Base CD behind you? Thank you.
It's probably going to be about that. That's kind of what I'm going for. As long as I can leave a lasting impression, just like Ace of Base, then I'm going to feel pretty satisfied with how this went.
You're trying to open up some eyes.
I'm trying to help people see the sign.
Your 5-minute warning.
Woohoo!
5 minutes. Yes, let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Those Records.
Hi.
Hey, hello.
I love it here.
For the Thursday night open mic special feature tonight. Double feature with Suza and the good people of the bad Beatnik poetry group. Yes. Yeah, it's okay to applaud. Okay. I mean, yes, they're modest, but they're not going to explode. They're not going to do like the reverse Peter Pan pixie thing, to where if you clap, they will cease to exist or something. Anyway, I'd like to get some of the formalities out of the way. A few regulations, a few guidelines, the rules, if you will. Sorry, there are rules. Only 5 though, and they are written in the first person. So kind of, if this is your first time hearing them, which should be everybody except Jason, just kind of try to follow along in your head. Jason probably remembers this stuff, so you can say it with me, but also silently, because we're not 3rd graders. So rule number 1, I will not leave a mess. That kind of explains itself. Rule number 2, I will not loudly or conspicuously walk out during someone's performance. If somebody says something that offends you, stick it out, you're an adult. Alright. Rule number 3, I will not hog the stage. We have water hoses for that purpose. You think I'm kidding? It's true. Number 4, everybody's favorite rule. I will not excessively or maliciously antagonize a performer, nor through an action allow a performer to be excessively or maliciously antagonized.
No heckling.
No, you can heckle just as long as you don't do it like out of anger.
Do it out of love.
Or like, every minute. If you heckle out of love, it's okay.
Yes, like black chairs.
Heckler or heckler?
Good stuff.
And rule number 5, no running.
What? I'm out.
Cardio.
What about running with scissors? I was thinking the same thing. I was trying to. Okay.
You didn't say no running.
If there was a magic object that would make running okay, it would be something like pillows, or cotton balls, or possibly a bag of marshmallows.
Oh.
Look at kitten. Is there
Running with kids.
Yes, I forgot to mention that during the do not hog the stage rule. Stage time is determined by how many people are signed up to read, and since in this case there's only like 5 of us, even though 2 of them are features, if you're not a feature, please limit your stage time to about 5 or 7 minutes. If you are a feature, we already talked about this and you're good. Alright, let us start with... See, everybody has told me that they don't want to go first, except for Susan. Actually a feature, so we're not quite ready for her to go first.
You should go first.
I should go first?
Yeah.
You already got there.
Alright, I am already there.
Perfect transition.
So you already got your braids.
Okay, so if I get this out of the way now, then I can shut the fuck up for the rest of the evening. By the way, you can say fuck here. We are a no censorship thing.
FCC is not listening. Fan-fucking-tastic.
So this piece is really crappy, but I can do it without looking at a piece of paper because it's rhymed, and I therefore was able to memorize it, and it's called motivational. and I don't know. It came from a week of me having writer's block, and then a day of me listening to Eminem songs. Not a good combination, but here it goes. This is a motivational anthem to myself, but I ain't hearing me. I let my past failures and disappointments put the fear in me, but I can't keep selling myself short. Gotta be the one that goes the furthest, calling the rest out on being cunts like they're Tony Wilson, I'm Ian Curtis. You heard this, but I regret it. Every lyric's a bad decision. I just lost the street cred when I name dropped fucking Joy Division. It's your division that I'm feeling, and it's burning me up inside. I need to drink some Maalox to pass the bottle I'll open wide. Run and hide from the stage fright, but keep my finger on the fader. When I'm on the mic, pump up the volume so I can rant like Christian Slater. All the haters are saying my references are too dated. I better pick up a paper before the print on it's faded. Let's see, I'll smoke 'em like James Holmes, win gold like Mike Phelps. I just contemporized, man, but I fear that none of that helps. Crystal clear, I'm cunning as hell, but that ain't got me, Jack. Think I'd have had more to show. Might have been selling the crack. But it's not about profit, it's all about self-esteem, and I'm feeling lower than dirt and not nearly as clean. I can't be seen out in public, it makes me want to see cover. I'm too old for this shit, I'm like a white Danny Glover. My motivation is gone, life bitch slapped me like a hoe again. I'm choking on stage at a poorly promoted show again. I'll phone a friend, tell him my woes again, spend my time talking instead of doing what I'm supposed to. It's supposed to do, my self-imposed deadline's been missed. And all the asses I've kissed ain't got me on no fucking list, and it gets me kind of pissed just thinking about it. I've got some killer ideas, there's no reason to doubt it. I'm out it, I got no phone calls to make. Why can't I sit my ass down and write a poem for fuck's sake? Well, I guess this one counts, but I doubt it'll ever see light, and I still lack motivation. I wrote this shit out of spite. But it's like 22 lines, so I guess it's alright. And on that note of consolation, poem's over. Good night. Next, I believe we will have Richard, if you're cool with that. Alright, everybody please give it up for Richard.
Alright. I wrote this one actually today for this. It's called Pin Flipping Words. And I should have done read. Focus your audio, Daddy-O. Don't get all slated for Crashville when I deliver this bitter literary pill. Nope. Apply a little noodle knowledge, and everything will apply like Elmer's. See, if people quit worrying about the style or shape and simply come together over the bridge, then it's more a matter of necessity and not a necessity of manners. You dig, Daddy-O? Did that flip your hood? Or is your engine able to modify its velocity to a degree that the amount of burnt petroleum manifests itself into the most effective way to meet the destination? Dig, Daddy-O? Or did it all go Bill Nye Science Guy on you? Actually, just a moment. Sorry. Cats and catios started getting all lamentations in Leslie Bruce late night sessions. This left this little friend in the atmosphere. I realized my id did fit in with the crowded lid, and reality is a fallacy to those who create incidental malice to the concept of how mass gentrification is less filling and tastes great compared to the sense of self. Not narcissism, but rather born individualism, born identity. See, I took a green go pill because red means stop and blue is good for jazz. But the jazz and all this is that my epiphany is more real than all the time that took my storyline I call real life and replaced it with a fairy tale called unjustifiable fear. Can you dig, Daddy-O? Or do you need to borrow my toy shovel and find a beach? Do you think it's hip to grovel? Or can you slip a hip and revel in how a man is a small speck in a boundless continent known as the cosmos, which in and of itself has never really been defined by edges so that it goes on beyond your wildest flu-induced fever. Such a cold sweat helped the hardest working man in show business build a soul empire on rhythm and soul. Done it again. Ego-driven sin, being all metaphysical, metastasis in my metaphorical metamorphosis, all Middle Eastern transit authority. Now what was I saying, eyebrows? Whoa. Focus your audio, Daddy-O. They can checkmate the postman, but they never put the check in the message. You dig? 6 feet over and out.
Thank you, Richard. Give Randy a second to get ready.
Yeah.
Richard, what was that called again?
Pin flipping words.
Pen flipping words. I like it. Alright, and we were promised Bukowski, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Please welcome Randy and his
Hi everybody.
rendition of Bukowski's.
This is me popping my cherry here, so you hear me okay?
I won't be.
Okay, this is Charles Bukowski, Dinosauria Lee. Born like this, into this, as the chalk faces smile, as Mrs. Death laughs, as the elevators break, as political landscapes dissolve, as the supermarket bag boy holds a college degree, as oily fish spit out their oily prey, as the sun is masked. We are born like this, into this. Into the carefully made wars, into the sight of broken factory windows of emptiness, into bars where people no longer speak to each other, into fistfights that end as shootings and knifings, born into this, into hospitals which are so expensive that it's cheaper to die, into lawyers who charge so much it's cheaper to plead guilty, in a country where the jails are full and the madhouses closed, into a place where the masses elevate fools into rich heroes. Born into this, walking and living through this, dying because of this, muted because of this, castrated, debauched, disheartened because of this, fooled by this, used by this, pissed on by this, made crazy and sick by this, made violent, made inhuman by this. The heart is blackened, the fingers reach for the throat, the gun, the knife, the bomb. The fingers reach towards an unresponsive God. The fingers reach for the bottle, the pill, the powder. We are born into sorrowful deadliness. We are born into government 60 years in debt. The soon will be unable to even pay the interest on that debt. And the banks will burn and money will be useless. There will be open and unpunished murder in the streets. It will be guns and roving mobs. Land will be useless. Food will become a diminishing return. Nuclear power will be taken over by the many. Explosions will continually shake the earth. Radiated robot men will stalk each other. The rich and the chosen will watch from space platforms. Dante's Inferno will be made to look like a children's playground. The sun will not be seen and it will not be bright. Trees will die, the vegetation will die. Radiated men will feed on the flesh of radiated men. The seas will be poisoned and the rivers will vanish. The rain will be the new gold. The rotting bodies of men and animals will stink in the dark wind. The last few survivors will be overtaken by new and hideous diseases. The space platforms will be destroyed by attrition, the petering out of supplies, entropy, the natural effect of general decay, and there will be a most beautiful silence never heard. Born out of that, the sun still hidden there, awaiting the next chapter. Have a nice day.
How's it going? That good, huh?
Super. Thanks for trying it.
Okay, this is called Everything All the Time.
I hate how cocaine brings out the real base elements of somebody's personality. I see how people grind their teeth to the bone and look for things to do while they're in the middle of their bullshit adrenaline rush. It's always the same. It's weird to watch. People make excuses and try and rationalize their drug habits. Everybody acts like they owe an explanation to somebody for everything. Our society is just paranoid as shit. I know a girl who's mad at the world. She thinks the world owes her a living. She thinks that the world's flat and the road goes on forever. And then one day, she's going to run out of gas and run out of steam or run out of space. The water is the land's end, but on coke, this Jin believes she can swing all the way to Japan. That's her biggest fear, that she'll run out of things to do, or places to go, or people to pass judgment on. She needs everything, all the time. Cocaine is her rocket fuel. As her days pile up like empty matchbooks in the fireplace, it's dark in there inside her mind, inside her head, her misery. Her drug gives her something to focus on, something to hold dear, something to loathe when the time comes. It's the love of her life. It seems like it's always 5 a.m., except when it's 5 a.m., most people are an hour or two away from getting up and facing a new day. But her yesterday is also the day before that, and tomorrow may as well be just the next day. There is no night, there is no day. It's just all one long binge, and her mind is singed. She could be your sister, she could be your wife. Peace be with you whenever you eventually get to sleep. What did you say about this?
Jeff Last.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Up next, I think it's feature time. So, our first featured performer has been doing this thing for a while. She's multi-talented, aside from being a poet. She's also a musician and a physical performer. And she's kind of like me in that she travels between the tribes sometimes. Enters several circles, which I would make a math joke here, but I haven't taken a math class since 2003, so I'd be really bad at it.
But would we know?
How many years ago was that?
What kind of math joke?
Damn it! All right. She's been published in. Oh, she just told me, and I should have written it down. What was it called?
Downtown Underground.
Downtown Underground. Hey, chapbooks are important.
They are. They're good words.
Like some of your favorite poets from the second half of the 20th century, at least. Some of their best stuff first came out in chapbook form. But I'll let her tell you a little bit more about herself, or as much as she's willing to share. And oh yeah, she's got some poetry too. That's kind of over here. So, yeah. So please welcome Suza, everyone.
Hey everybody. How it is? So I'm gonna try and be respectful of time since we got started a little late today. But hi, I'm Suza. Some people know me as Hepcat. And yeah, I'm a conceptual artist, so that means that sometimes I make art out of things that aren't normally art. Like words or events where you create a moment and bring people together under a unique kind of experience. So yeah, so my poetry is not always fictional. Sometimes it's real, and a lot of times it's conceptual too. Yeah. So. Forgotten how big the sky is. Beautiful freckled heavens, blinking, winking, sweet naked dreaming, patiently waiting in the darkness, while the earth rotates, the universe went concave, the dreaming vacuum of space, that weightless oblivion, we float with abandon, fly so close to the sun, evaporate before you burn up, transcend time, that hyperspace drive. Embers like dancing fireflies, leaping, spinning into the night, lit with cascading sparks of light. Let's ride off into the sunrise, where the sky meets the horizon. Selectric, elect to be eclectic, get spastic, do something drastic. You can't imagine how naughty I've been, but don't put it past you to laugh at the tragic coincidences of how my time is spent. Let it overtake, felt it radiate, this unavoidable, undeniable, unmistakable, unassuming. Flowing over me like skewed reality, can distinguish where to reach them. Over it, under it, never planned it, just let it happen. Can't make adjustments when it just keeps coming. Unrelenting, doing its own thing. Electromagnetic, rushing, frantic, feeling hectic, getting in it. The adrenaline drive that gets you high, makes you question all the hows and the whys. So I'm going to read one about fire, and then I'll read one about water. Because why not? So subtle a delicious energy, distractions like bolts of lightning, off our heads bouncing, rhythm of undeniable beating. Attractive magnetism draws me in, unexplained, welcoming. As we follow our flow and choose to let it all go, let you follow me home so I can let you know. Yesterday's fire goes fading all around us, piles of smoking embers, the past lies all around us, smoldering, not extinguished, yet a new spark distinguished from the old chaos of before. No expectations in store. In a barely settled aftermath, under the gray ash glows, that unresolved conflict, the red neon coals, deceptively warm, even without a flame, burns to the touch. Time to make a change. Slow burn, cool so much. The cordial, civil, lacking passion. Lingering in weight, wasting potential, stepping back before it breaks. We rake these coals apart and let them consume themselves, to take our souls apart, to consider with introspectiveness, to embrace the kind and not the cruel, to realize the abundance of fuel, the infinite depths of love, as below so above. Waiting for inspiration, that proper motivation, the ability to give and receive when things flow similarly, energy aligned and it's the right time, to feed a new spark, a blue flame. Like energy attracts like, opposites consume, repel, and fade. We're challenged to accept and take action, to make the most of our infinite potential, to explode, to love yourself. I know. This is another one that was a record one day. It was on, this was also on Fair Park, but I really like it because it's rainy and, yeah, it's a nice rainy day song. Rain is dropping down the glass, running, the temperature slipping, just sitting here chilling, loving the feeling got by disbelieving, watch reality slipping from the floor to the ceiling. So nice to relate, so pleased to acquaint, so very nice to make the time with you get late, 'cause we just stayed, time out from the game. Just thought I'd say it's so lovely when it rains. Clean and refreshed, spring showers are the best to wash away the mess that makes a person tense. To release this stress, please do confess, our time is best spent in pursuit of calmness. You know, we were reading all these nice dark things earlier, so I'm going to read the one about, you know, conspiracies and stuff. That sounds like fun. We're here in Dallas, so we should do that. Glass reflected twinkles, always round-eyed, blinking, winking, always watching. But does it really see? Can it read through me? Does someone sit watching in confined spaces with so many square TVs waiting for me to walk by? Scratches and pen to mark the time, logging my travels, the satellite snapping candidates on lampposts winking, undermining whirring metal and glass gleaming like Orwellian dreaming. I like to hide under Jackie O sunglasses. I'm in disguise with my X-ray specs. You can't deny, I feel so mysterious, mysterioso, mysteriousness. Yes, yes. Invisible eyes see you sooner. Don't even try to get away with anything. And you can't hide from high-powered laser beams, because I've got you in my sight, both barrels, bada bing. Drifting reception, flickering beyond recognition, reach back underneath and tell me what you think. The submarine in my sink, the whirlpool drains underneath. It's such a feeling. Maybe from something, that deja vu memory, I guess he caught me staring. Look past the daydream, it's an excuse we used to hide, to see inside, to look through those eyes. And even if spotlights blind the windows to your mind, the pinwheels turn to the right, it's reflective inside. So this is the one that I posted earlier today that had the video, but I kind of like it. It's actually about a poet named Neil Cassidy, since we're doing Beatnik, and he had many names, he was in many books. He drove lots of vehicles, buses, stolen cars, whatever, yeah, things. Aimless lover, aiming loveless, walking through the steps of romantic bliss, without committed entanglement to slow down the trip, rather fun exploring instead of settling for it. Wading through transcendentals, testing sex experimental, taunting conversations out of hiding, gaining momentum each and every nightly, running for the joy of it, maintaining a constant state of motion, keeping up with the flow of it, chatting at the riff to the beat and the rhythm. But until you write it all down, it's just a figment of your imagination. Lay down a freestyle rhyme and create something more tangible, like the flip of a hammer caught on the downswing. Frantic flow of his banter enraptures even strangers that he meets. Driving the bus further than the OJ would allow, full tilt the whole trip, feet barely touching the ground. At the hustler's instinct to be whatever the person he's with wanted him to be. With such delicious spontaneity, so very codependently charming, bisexuality without pausing, just wanted to drive fast, maybe take the drag backwards, one eye over his shoulder, got this shit mastered. Experience is the high that lasts for miles and miles, that can get you off from the passenger side. He always had to drive, even from Cali to the other side, to see the good Dr. Timothy tripping out on LSD. Always had to go faster, to get inside their heads, even so much faster than down the roads he sped, breaking to sing to a bird, taking her back at the nest, telling the lovely intelligence until body and mind are spent. Let the energy flow with creative motion. Feel the beatific glow of instinctive emotion. Rather relaxed and ultramagnetic, philosophical rap about the Dharma beatific. Makes me so crazy listening to you wax eloquent, doing long divisions with erotic equations, reading footnotes, imagining my heels sliding past boots, tactile sensational, exceeding all feeling, leaving me tingly. Experience leaves me breathless and wet, something you just can't get in a bottle. Take off those goggles and seduce me with dead language, cinephile, diabolique, surrealist dialogue and sheets. High class, low brow, and in between. Don't try so hard, baby. I like what I see. Hardwired circuitry, analyze me from A to G. Searching for the one, that one true love, lost cause it's all fucked up. The ventilation of your frustrations funneling down to touch the soles of your feet. The relaxation of satisfaction. 1, 2, 3, just wait and see. Want to kiss me, could not resist me. Time to take your time, baby. We've got all day, we can't stay away. No time for change, we've got to make it. I did this one with a musician named Sean Anderson who produces Everything in Gray. And this one they actually released from a record label in Chicago called Guidance. So technically I don't own all the rights to this one anymore. Yay! But one day I'll buy those copyrights back. And everybody remember, you can change your copyright. You can change your royalties. You just have to buy back the rights to your own stuff. Anyways. You keep me up at night when I should be dreaming right, but when I close my eyes and brush the stars away with a smile, start to fall into blackness and into the darkest expanses, envelop me in a lucid path, mine goes too fast to just relax. Heard that certain ninja skills teach assassins to sneak uphill into unsuspecting dreamers still reclining until they move in for the killing. Get ready for the evening, ready for my mind's wandering, vaguely slipping into lucid dreaming. If only I could remember the real things. But it's too much to just wake up and remember enough to change my luck, so can't wait to get tired. Busy sleep is what's required. Can't wait to see what's transpired when we slip over the astral tripwire. Never know what's in store through Morpheus' back door till you hit the floor and decide there's no reason to run for. And realize that everything is nothing and less is more. Whatever you allow for is what you're in for. And before you're done, before you ought to know the score, realize that everything is nothing and less is more. Something meaningful, abstract justifications, excusing all indiscretions, and in the end emptiness. All these grasping souls expelling nervous energy, mechanics free of intensity, emotions held in unnatural restraint. So liberal with vulgar physicality, that soulless infestation, fornication's duality, the orgy versus masturbation. No questions asked versus communication, no strings attached versus exclusivity, scattered static, fleeting, depleting, ungratifying, unenlightened fucking, or rather accept the risk of a single dynamic spiritual bond. To trade up instead of cash out, to deny the fear of betrayal, the disappointing disillusions, quiet, so very quiet. And for just a second, silence. If the demons of uncertainty are restrained and pretend it's mended good as new again, so depleted, nothing left to lose, might as well give into the erotic confines of my standards, the exalted heights of expectations, the non-judgmental, still quite liberal and traditional free of convention. So close, almost there, just don't stop. You're going to make me come correct about what I expect. What prevents the train wreck, gravity or magnetism to the track? Knowing the goal and taking it nice and slow. The key to understanding happiness is all about finding balance. As each second ticks by, we go another few miles. That backdrop filled with sky, tracks stretch on for a long, long while. If subway trains had glass bottoms, like riverboats on the water, in the riverbed below you'd see the swimming fishes and the green algae. But you look through the glass beneath your feet to peek at the underbelly of society. The clack clack, splash flash, the flickering frames move right on past. Click clack, flick flash, the scenes from this window flash by too fast. Only one thing unchanged, the street sign perched atop out of boisterous vandal's way. At midnight they raid, polishing bricks of dullest gray with gemstone-colored paints. Look through the glass beneath your feet at the underbelly of society. Flickering frames move right on past. Scenes from this window flash by too fast. Artificial misrepresentation like latex piss engraving their territory like an aerosol kiss. Embellished script too expansive to be missed. Creation of destructiveness. We are doing good on time. All right, excellent. Reunion of forgotten madness, free from every awkwardness of shining DNA striped lights turned around inside my mind, engaging as before, spinning in the waves of life brighter in the twilight, the delineation of structure exploding inside to captivate my eyes. Outside my eyelids, the fireworks escape from deep within each cell, incendiary instincts expand into space. A lit cigarette dropped in the mortar, better run the fuck away. But to even find yourself in the situation, you've got to be a little more than crazed. Twisting above the highway like strands of DNA, encircling beauty extends from the universe outside to within. The intertwining power lines like streaking bright meteorites, the very essence of this life, like the light in the light, watching for you to laugh or cry depends on the balance of your state of mind. Can you let yourself go in ready to recognize your sense, to transcend the debase of each and every day? What are you willing to accept? Because you'll get what you expect. Can you live that way? Can you maintain with grace into your consciousness embrace that old familiar face? What do you say? Will all be okay? As long as it doesn't stay the same? And we'll know that we're going the right way when things begin to radiate. And if it's all inside my brain, then who's to say how it will turn out today? Has it really changed from yesterday? Or do you feel the same? Does it go down way inside your brain, eating away, or rather dissipate and float away? Confront this long angle downwards. Don't tremble at the side or cower. Make each step an exercise and effort. Just how high are you willing to climb before you find what you came to find? Is this the top of the ride? How does one confront the truth and still feel fine? With hesitance, better left on the first step, and every attempt at effortlessness. Head first into the ground, lying face down, or laughing, revel in the profound futility, way behind me, where it can't find me. So lovely to see you. It's always such a delight. Casual flirtation proves to really help pass the night. Completely freeing through fleeting feeling, grazing lips across such willing, skin waving to be held again, more delicious within the fantasy of it, more inventive in the planning of it. Anticipation adds so much weight to it if you wait for it. Then it slips inconspicuously through knitted fingers, always overanalyzing till the very last. And when ready at last, the moment passes through as an epiphany, ready to grant us releasing into effervescent dreaming. ready to greet us embracing, tangling, mingling, ready to give and receive, and tick-tock it all stops. Damn, logical reason. Why can't I live by my compulsions? Reeling through daylight, ready to metamorphose into a creature of the night, but we're not ready for this. It's time to raise our spirits, time to elevate our minds. There's nothing in the dark that you can't find within the light. Okay, I'm going to read 2 more, and then I'm going to be done here.
Do you have a song by chance?
Do I have a song? Yes, I can sing a song too. Sweet. No problem. Blood rushing into my ears like waves falling in from the ocean, gentle lapping like kisses on the consciousness, and in an instant falls away, taking only a trace of each cell in my brain to travel all the world's stage with no local destination in mind. Unfortunately, mine sometimes seeks out another time. Maybe simplicity I'm looking to find. Nostalgia isn't interested in mystery. The fingers of neurons grasp at memories, inescapably fine. They couldn't have come from this life. The familiarity of strangers, the predictability of particulars. Never expect coincidence to be unconnected incidents, since significance is perceived resilience. And you'll be happy to find, as needed, one at a time, perception's many sides will surface in your mind's light. And when the search is over, you find the prize you learned to see without using your eyes. Whatever flips on your switch, fulfills that niche, grants you a wish, gives you a grip on this head trip. And they say that all us kids are crazy, since the ideal sexy body decorated, stretched out, stained, and mutilated, maybe a little crazy. But we're all born naked and helpless, weak, sweet, and defenseless, and then it starts to change. Kids are cool, or so they say. Society hopes human nature mutates, since some of us want pleasure without any pain. And sometimes maybe just a little taste, to remind our minds how it feels to be flesh, blood, mortal, and real. Group mentality often tweaks with the way that we ought to think, packing up like savage beasts, gravitating towards the super freak. It's easier than buying your way in, paying hard cash for fair weather friends, most gratifying outward descent, heading down towards the fringe. Don't be afraid to stand up in the front and imagine they're all naked, and then they'll be the ones that feel so vulnerable. Once they've seen you naked, there's not as much to hide, no need for inhibition. You have to respect the pride, to love your reflection instead of despising what was your life. Whatever flips your switch, fulfills that niche, grants your wish, gives you a grip on this headship. What do I remember the words to? I think I'm going to do Sarah Vaughan. Yeah. The night is cold and I'm so all alone. I give my soul just to call you my own. Got a moon above me, but no one to love me. Lover man, oh where can you be? I heard it said that the thrill of romance could be like a heavenly dream. I go to bed with a prayer that you'll make love to me, strange as it seems. One day we'll meet, and you'll dry all my tears, and whisper sweet little things in my ears, a hugging and a kissing, oh, what we've been missing. Lover man, oh, where can you be?
I actually met our next featured performer while I was failing math in school in the 8th grade. I've known him for I guess over a decade now, which is scary. And I remember meeting him in the hallway of Richardson West Junior High, which I guess during the time that I was there became Richardson West Technology Magnet. Yeah, it's all fancy and shit. But we both had Tool shirts on at the time. And so at some point after that, toward the end of his high school career, he started up the Bad Beatnik poetry thing, which is kind of, well, I'll let him introduce it because I like the way he tells the story, but the Beatnik part doesn't necessarily have as much to do with what you think it does. Let me put it this way. Initially, the group had less to do with the likes of Charles Bukowski, Ginsberg, Kerouac, and more with the likes of Tom Morello and Zach De La Rocha and the other members of Rage Against the Machine. I'll let him tell you why and how. So please welcome Ryan Miller, and somebody who I've known a short time, but equally an important contributor and organizer of stuff pertaining to Bad Beatnik poetry, Clayton Gates. You guys decide your own order.
All right, all right. Hey everyone. First of all, I guess I'd like to thank Alex for having us here. Even though I protested violently against being called a feature, and you will notice that I'm not even using the same microphone as Suza. Just because that is... No kidding, I couldn't. It's too sacred. It's too sacred. But yes, he's right. He's right. Doesn't really. I'm sorry if you guys came here expecting Beatnik stuff. A little background. Hi, I'm Ryan Miller. Basically, what happened about 10 years ago is myself and a couple of friends of mine started dicking around on the internet writing poetry. That's about it. We didn't try to really do anything too special. We just kind of said, you know what, we could probably do that. That sounds pretty easy. And I'm pleased to say that 10 years later, we were still pretty much just dicking around on the internet writing poetry. So, you know, here's for growth. Again, I didn't bring a whole lot of things to read, because what I've done, what I do, what myself and the people that I'm pleased to know and work with do, is we just basically all get together. We're a collective. I try not to be the center of attention here, because I suck at it. And
I don't believe that.
it's true, but the whole point is basically we decided that if you ever free yourself from the belief that everything you do has to be good, if you allow yourself to make some mistakes, if you allow yourself to fuck up sometimes, who knows, every now and then some shit might turn out alright. So, in that vein, as I said, Bad Beatnik Poetry, an internet group, you guys can join it, it'd be awesome, is really about myself and everybody that I know kind of collaborating and creating shit. So, Mr. Clayton Gates, could you do me a favor and grab that board right next to you?
Love to.
Yeah, basically I'm a hack. That's my whole point. That's what I said. I feel bad following Suza, but you will see here that I've got a board full of pre-made magnetic poetry words. In varying degrees of professionality, that's kind of sort of in line with us, but please, pass this around. Maybe make a line or two. Maybe, you know, all create one big poem, maybe make a line, maybe make two, maybe make 15 haikus. I don't care. Whatever you make. However, and I want everybody to get a piece of this if you would, whatever you make at the end of the time that I'm reading whatever bullshit I read, I'll perform your pieces. So go ahead and make them really awkward for me. I'd like to start with a piece dedicated to one of my favorite stories, Unrequited Love. Withdrawn,
I hide inside my shell, and raging fires burn within me. Why have you spurned me so quickly? You make me feel like such a monster. For you, I've built castles in the sky, and now I sit alone and cry. The aforementioned internal fires are all that warm these lonely spires. I wish you could see that space itself has not space enough for my ambition, for you, for us, my sweet, as sweet as peaches. But instead, you'd rather be with Mario. Yeah, I don't write poems or punchlines. Every time his name escaped her lips, she would wince and cringe and clench her fists. It wasn't his name that she was trying to say. She tried and failed to cry it away. She had erased the thoughts of what he said, his birthday, phone number, their nights in bed. But that name remained to steal the place of those more deserving of her grace. She spoke and spoke to cleanse her throat of the one word which she hated most, which still into her voice box crept, and which still sometimes she heard when she slept. Her practice made her feel at ease. She could now say any name she pleased, but after many years of perfect days, the name came back she'd been betrayed. Her mind had given her no choice. The name was not only in her voice. Silence alone was not an option. It was her thought now that gave her caution. So now he, who views her with desire, had best few words from her require, and know that there's no higher praise than when she puts her finger to his lips, and just as they're about to kiss, whispers, "No names, dear, no names." There was once a man who couldn't spell commitment, and by whom the word loyalty could not be said. He tried and tried to write fidelity, but failure always came out instead. He had not always been this way. Some years ago there'd been a switch, and when asked to tell his tale, he'd say, "Well, a couple of years ago I was dating this fucking witch." Make sure to pass the board, you guys want. Are you got something for me already?
No. No. That's not at all.
Are you using Batman yet?
Yes. It's Batman. There's some good words on this board. It's hard to choose.
Do you guys be the best poets here? This one comes from an epic battle that I believe was lost in time somehow in history. I don't know how this really people seem to have forgot that this happened, but this is the epic tale of Robo Rhino versus Sharktopus. Part 1. I have feelings deep inside my bosom that rhyme. For this rhino I've cried, so he could know the flavor of that for which he fights. The circus and wires and blinking lights, he kept true his spirit that was locked to us. The spirit he lost in his fight with Sharktopus. Part 2. The champion's hero, this rhinoceros, who set from Cape Horn to battle the evils in our hearts with good hope. He steeled his heart against doubt, just as the doctor steeled his skin against war. For true heroes come within and have the fire to lead the charge, in a motor housed by their ribs. Part 3. A hero rhino's love. Talia tried not to let her feelings show as her beloved tromped away. She had prepared for when he'd go, knowing her love must yield to fate. Her reflection, however, in his plaited hide betrayed the feelings she'd been shunning. Her tears leapt free when soon he lied, but a hero's dishonesty is oft called cunning. It was for her he raised his horn and marched off towards the water. He charged through fields of flames and worlds of war to trample any evil that may spot her. Part 4. Madness and tyranny. O reasonable souls, look away all. and heed not the lulling ocean's call. For deep within it waiting swims the most dreadful and hated monster of them all. Beneath the waves in peaceful surface, Sharktopus prowls with deadly purpose. With jaws so fierce they armor pierce, and tentacles that accomplish countless murders. The time for reason beneath the sea has ended. With shark and octopus it is blended. In clouds of ink great ships will sink, leaving holes in hulls and hearts unmended. A predator with scoffs at prayer, a beast which hunt no human dares, the devil's own white whale, against which no Ahab would sail, for no madness could inspire man to abandon care. Part 5. Fully charged. As Robo-Rhino navigated towards the scene of the most recent marine disaster, he and his foe on a collision course, our hero charged his laser blasters. He'd seen the worst that Sharktopus could do, destroy a massive oil tanker. But his eyes were shielded from inky goo, and boats aren't bolstered by righteous anger. The aquatic fiend came to surface as the beach and the mortal enemy's eyes first met. Each seeing in each other a fearsome beast, one clad in armor, the other wet. And moments peace before they headed into battle as fierce as Armageddon. Part 6. The rhino that fell, and the Sharktopus who also fell. When the titans clashed and crashed, there was a mighty din. When the clash and thrash obscured what was within, the thrash and splash caused by tentacle and fin was met by the flash and blast of lasers homing in. They fought and tore against each other in the froth and roar of rays that thundered, when they lost so much more and began to wonder if they'd sought a war from which they'd not recover. The brutal might of the fearsome beast. Exactly. Yeah, that's I meant to write that here. The brutal might of the fearsome beast meant the duel, this plight which had been released, would accrue all night in gruesome feast, and pools of bread ripe blood would be released. The Robo-Rhino in his armored hide could no more find a place to hide, and his solo pride, for which he tried to hold on tight, began to subside. Growing weary and tired from hours of more and merely acquiring a few burns and scores, our hero's steely and wired core know he must surely bring his riding foe ashore. Hours later, and miles apart, Talia felt a whimper in her heart, and knew without a doubt, she knew inside, the outcome of the fight. Robo-Rhino tied. Part 7 next time. We'll do the sequel.
Okay.
Next time I see you guys.
I know.
Hey, Ty.
She was wrong.
Yeah, that one needs to be right here.
Doesn't mean Talia. Just a girl.
One of the things that I promised that I would do is, again, we've got a lot of people who write a lot of poems for us. I promised I would read one. This one is by my brother, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
Chariots of fire. Broken ash scar. Submerged in 1,000 castles' sand, dead with blackened fist, stained from the art's vast ambition. Clinching a final treasure, a secret from God, the boy, the naked and open, hiding beneath the knuckles, and other palms baring themselves like teeth to hell. Hanging by his stem from the monkey bars, the ash boy looms a crucifix of arrested bloom over the battle playground, whispering, warning the other delicate flowers around him, grow at your own risk. The children, could they hear? They haven't yet grown into their ears. Giggling, they climb his back and stick their tongues at him. And they love their ash boy without ever mentioning. It whispers, hearts, kisses. Suffering the carved conventions of lovers and lie like the tree. Bark scared and initiated bites. The ash boy burns but does not scream. Love, fire is. The girl on the tire swing, melting in the sun like forgotten chocolate, smolders a slow burn against moon, starring while the sky calls itself night, and asks in a voice unaccustomed to prayer for petals of the hand to taste the light. The ash boy rose, wondering which, love or life, was the greater vanity. No man is innocent of love, but wrongly accused, just as life is committed every day by people who never get caught. Thank you. And shit, I'm just kind of running out of stuff to read. Normally, a lot of the stuff that I do is all really short, stupid things. Again, it's kind of like my, I don't know, I guess I kind of write poems like I have sex. It's always really kind of short and disappointing. For example, where is my... Is my haiku fest. Hold on, you guys are in trouble now.
Haikus can be really powerful in short amount of time. And not disappointing.
Is that
I'm just doing a version of Love is a Highway. It's Love is a Haiku. I want to write it for about 17 syllables. Too many fortunes. Can't decide which one I want to add in bed to. Let's mock the third world. Coney Island Gorge session. It's 4th of July. Bird with one leg hops. Bug with no wings is forced to crawl. Snake with no fangs sucks. Simplest verse form, it's just 575, half-assed poetry. Nothing is worse than rednecks eating granola. Pretentious failures. I can't believe I just did that one live. It would be so tranquil if it weren't for the screeching white-winged vermin.
I hate seagulls.
I don't know why I'm doing this. Thanks, Alex. This is your fault. I'm sad to say you cannot be the... Where is it? I'm sad to say that you cannot be the person in my dreams. There's never anybody in my dreams. I'm just flying in clouds made of jello. How are we doing on the magnet board, guys?
Yeah, I was like...
Are we ready for this?
You guys had a chance
Do we have anything put together?
Jason,
Alright. While you're doing that, I want to see if I can find at least something else worth it. He left no stains of his regret, no kids, no car, no outstanding debt. It was as if he'd gone and swept up after himself before he left. It's as though he made himself a bet, where the winner was the first who'd forget. This is my, every now and then I write entirely prototypical, sort of, because again, I guess if anybody knows Alex and they knew that I went to high school with them, they'll probably not be surprised that I write poetry like this sometimes. I moistened my finger with my own black tears. Throughout these past years, the tear stain lingers. I raise it to the sky after I gently brush my eyes, a heart that doesn't warm and warns me of the storm. I'm in its middle, the black tears just trickle, my own personal weather violin. Thank you. Thank you. And now it's time for me to cry again. Oh, listen, come on, Alex. Alright, I'm almost done with you guys. I'm sorry.
I'm ready for this board.
Got one for me?
I'm like excited. Yeah. Board activity.
I'm gonna go ahead. Richard's got something for me to read. It's for me to read.
Yes.
Oh, delightful.
For you.
Ah, we are the 99%. Awesome. I'm like Morgan. Back from the grave, harder than Grim Reaper's flask of whiskey, more callous than a cowboy's hands grasping raw rope for a calf to save, but they can dismiss me. But I'll climb that social ladder and take my shift to those who stand in the way, for we are the 99%. Rain down on our heads like hailstones during an ice age apocalypse, for we are the 99. 34%? How about 34% of your head on a silver platter like organized religion? You've outlived your usefulness. But we can baptize you in your foolishness, for we are the 99. You twist words like twist ties, those ties that bind 8-year-olds of death and destruction over oil, blood, and foreign soil. Souls that had to die so the devil in the details could collect the deeds while the bodies came home in body bags. Hefty bags, but these bags have souls much heavier than you ever had, for we are the 99. You pick apart policy for pleasure, you patronize the public because you think you know better, run the government like a business? Well, I'd be the first to fire your ass if you tried, capitalistic, egotistical oppressor, because we are the 99. Thank you. Four time. So I'm just going to put all of this together and see if it actually makes
Drum roll.
any fucking sense.
Anybody?
Just come on. Yeah. Now we got some motion.
I have faith in you.
You're not allowed to drop it at the end.
Horse, is this the name of this poem? Horse Bingo Mouth. Attention! Apparent, sinister touch upon a kiss achieved, violent porcupine. Motion on. Scorpion pounce like money. Jump crazy to lighthouse sway. Confused dead Jesus, the fish vegetable. Popsicle afraid and black holy salami betrayal.
Oh, no.
Righteous kiss explode like bright revolution. That was unfortunate sadness waves. Naughty parties explode. Without their swarthy horde of pink brain ninja heels. Finger our power, might as hour speaks, Captain Awesome. Transcend poetry like a fiction, as mean in speech and a line as pumpkin police. White alien drip below the groovy trip of surprise. Dream tears alone. Popsicle fix. We got thoughts about those. Popsicle fixture shake gnarly gazebo with sandhorse ghost soul. Statue wheel today, tomorrow. Prison toddler is being kind to me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty much it.
I just met her tonight. Please give her a warm welcome. Her name is Julie.
Your shoes are awesome, Miss Julie. Thank you. I'm going to listen to some blues, and I hope they have some heels. Nice. So I'm also known as Dottie Whiplash, and I used to do performance art, and I read at this place in Berkeley. It's a bunch of people that used to read at the Cafe Mediterranean by People's Park. And sometimes I have Beatnik poetry readings. And I want to read a poem first that a friend of mine who's dead now wrote when we all went to Mardi Gras. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, he met us, we were driving down with the wigs, and he met us in drag and wrote this poem, and it was really great. Mardi Gras Lament. Yes, Mr. Drugstore Man, send me some of those razor blades with my regular sedative. Yes, Mr. Drugstore Man, I need it right now. Have that nice young studly boy deliver right now. I want the straight edge kind. I'm going to slit my wrist. I want the boy to stay and watch as he strokes his cock. My sisters are leaving me behind, so yes, Mr. Drugstore Man, send me my razor blades now. Wow. Is it okay if I read a couple more?
Yes.
Okay, so this was written for the Beatnik poetry reading we had a few years ago. And I used to sell some art on Telegraph Avenue. The beggar in the wheelchair said, What's down, man? What's down? It's not what's up. It's down, Daddy-O. If I were the queen of nickdom, I'd beat Nick down the notes, smoking squares instead of J's in dark alleys, 'cause Crosby's everywhere. It's always black in nickdom. An axe grinder can't get any lower than 12 bars of chocolate to a cat. It's always greasy when you lie in dirty oil on asphalt. Bellies of beatniks trying to get up when it's down, man, that brings the genius on. If I were the queen of nickdom, I'd say, what's down, Daddy-O? What's down? And I used to go to this diner on Fort Worth Avenue about 4 o'clock in the morning, and there was a waitress with a wart on her nose, and I just had to write this Beatnik poem about her. So anyway, and there's so the Pit Grill was the diner that was there. My mother's a 24-hour diner on Fort Worth Avenue. The wart on her nose grows hairs like the head of Ganesh, sprouting fresh each dawn. Hun, make that coffee for one. I am reborn. Mother, make my grilled cheese greasy. Mother, make my bacon crisp. Mother, let me come in. 24/7 is it. My mother's a 24-hour diner on Fort Worth Avenue, ordered up with cheese and grilled onions on my chili. And my mother's daughters grow fat, their teeth gone. What you want, hun? I want my eggs scrambled. No, make 'em hard up. Black Joe, no, gotta have some cream. Dream on, fella, you ain't talking to me. Can't you see I'm writing poetry? Fat cats on the tattoo prowl, growl for Fort Worth Avenue gals. Rough pearls worn down with time. Buddy, I can't spare a dime. Get your crackhead out of the dumpster. You're gonna get picked up, locked down, and doing time when you'll be back a mother's son. You'll cook those hash browns and flip them cakes. Boss man gonna get your pay. Counter coffee, 4 a.m. Friend, we've been. My mother's a 24-hour diner on Fort Worth Avenue. The wart on her nose grows hairs like the head of Ganesh, sprouting fresh each dawn. Hun, make that coffee for one. I am reborn.
I love it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I will think of Ganesh every time I see a hearing
So, I think that's about it. Unless we missed someone that wants to go and do like a burning desire round. If anybody.
burning desire to tell you thank you for organizing it, and this is awesome. Thank you for
Thank
bringing
you.
it together.
Thank you. I feel weird about receiving gratitude.
We're just gonna throw it at you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you guys for coming out. We will do this thing with the Beatnik group and the open micness and probably some other excellent feature sometime in the next month or two. No doubt. Keep checking Facebook. Add yourselves to the roster of Bad Beatnik Poets on their Facebook group.
That's us.
Check out Suza's thing at the Texas Theater.
That's her.
That's her.
It's gonna be fun.
I don't know. Eat your cereal with a fork.
That's you.
That's me. And you know, a little suntan lotion never hurt anyone.
I don't know.
I think that's from Zombieland, I'm not sure. Was that the last line of Zombieland, or was that some other equally dorky product? I don't know. Somebody's gotta be here to like just fact check my references. That wears like thicker glasses than I do, and butts in occasionally with, well, actually.
Constantly Googling.
Yeah,
It
constantly.
gets some tape. The bridge right there. So like,
All right, so drive safe on your way home. Have a great evening.
Okay, we're gonna be going.
And keep your rockets pointed up. By the way, on a side note, if you can tell me what I'm quoting there, I will host the next one of these in a dress. But anywho,
What was
What's that
the
movie you were
again?
talking about?
yeah, exactly. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
What movie you were talking about? Oh, reference.
Pump up the volume.
Oh.